Okay, my role at Yes is to manage the evolution of the company. Yes is a satellite TV operator. We have over-the-top VOD, and I'm going to give you some insight about the future of TV, the way that we perceive that. I'm not going to talk about the far future, 2 years or 3 years or 10 years from now. I'm going to speak about the current future. It's a hot potato campaign that we're about to launch. It's actually the revolution of the whole TV experience that we are about to launch just in the next few weeks. And I'm going to share it with you guys. And I'd be happy to hear your comments and your thoughts about it. So first I would like to give you a brief introduction of our company. Our company has 600,000 subscribers, households, we have 40% market share. We are a premium platform. We cost between 20 to 30% more than our competitors. We belong to the Israeli telco, it's called Bezeq, and for regulation issues we cannot offer any other services other than TV, which kind of forced us to be experts in the TV experience and to be better in what we do than our competitor who has a triple or quad service actually that they are now offering. So in addition to the advantage that we have in terms of content, we perceive ourselves as the leaders of the TV experience in terms of the technological aspects. And it's been in this phase since the launch of the company about 10 years ago. Since the launch, we were the first ones to introduce digital TV, PVRs back in 2005, HD in 2007, HD PVRs in 2009. We've launched an OTT, our first OTT service in 2009, which was a remote booking application on iOS devices, later on to be added with a complete VOD service, not a complete, but a VOD service over the top on mobile devices, where our subscribers can see the full or longer versions of bigger catalogs after they log in. Of course, they can also remote book recordings on their PVRs. PVR are major issues on our platforms. 3D streamer service, which I think we are one of the only satellite TV operators who operate streamer service, where people can watch whatever they have on their computers through the set-top box on their TVs. And last year we synchronized our HD and SD channels, which mean that on the same number, if I have at my house SD set-top box and HD set-top box on the same channel number, if I have an HD set-top box, I would see this same channel in its HD version, so people don't now have different slots for HD channels and SD channels. We are perceived as HD on all channels. So this was back in 2012, and I would like to speak a little bit about the next development that we are about to launch. So we have the technological leadership perception in our customers. We can see our competitor, HOT, who has 60% market share, are perceived as 27% of the population think that they are more technologically advanced than us. However, the majority of the market share think that we are the most technological, we provide the best experience on the platform, on TV. We have over 70% penetration of PVRs. The vast majority of PVRs are HD PVRs, who has also an OTT VOD service implemented into that set-top box. It's interesting that we have this amount of penetration when we see that the amount of TVs at the houses are around 3, which is, I think, a bit higher than the average in Europe, a bit lower than the average in the US. And we have constant growth in terms of the penetration of PVR. So, the next phase of TV, the next TV generation, the next generation of the TV experience is a combination of 3 aspects. One is the personal TV, the personalized TV, which we've done with Orca, and I'm going to share with you some of this product. a multi-screen, multi-room experience, and a new user experience. So let's start with the personalization. We will have, just in the very near future, a TV channel. Since we are very far from Israel, it was very difficult to show it on video, but it's an interactive service where you get recommendation about VOD items according to each one of the users, according to their own consumptions. So since it's in Hebrew, I will not translate all the stuff over here, but if I like children's content, I would probably get more children's content and so on. All these recommendations is operated and managed by Orca. We also have a very, what happened here? An advanced search engine where it completes your words, so you don't need to click the full Grey's Anatomy season 9, I think now. You don't need to write the whole thing. You just type the first 3 letters, and then you get already the recommendations or the terms that are most perceived, that we perceive that are most likely that those are going to be the ones that you'd be able to watch. You'd be wanting to watch, and of course we have recommendations from our editorial people that they recommend about new stuff, new launches of series and so on. So this is the first phase of personalized TV. Actually, it's the first time that we have on our platform the ability to offer each one of the users recommendations according to their own taste, and then to hopefully deepen the amount of usage that we gain to VOD items through this personalized service. The second part is came from insight that we received not only from the market or from the technological possibilities, but came from consumer insights. These are some of the quotes that I picked from our customers, stuff that people said. People said, I have PVR at my salon, and sometimes I want to stop watching the movie at the salon and then continue watch the same movie, the recorded movie, at the living room. But the problem is at my living room or in my bedroom. But the problem is the recorded items are located in the set-top box at the salon, so it's problematic for me. Some other people said, okay, I have more than one PVR at the house, but I recorded my children's recorded their shows on the PVR at the kids' room, but now I want to use this set-top box to watch the stuff that I recorded on another room, and now I need to manage all my recordings, and it's very difficult for me. People say, I just don't want to pay for extra PVR. In Israel, extra PVR, we charge around 10 euros for the extra PVR per month, which is pretty expensive for most of the families. If they want to have on top of their first PVR an additional one. So many of the people have only one, most of the people have only one PVR at the house or one HD PVR at the house, and they want to enjoy this time-shifting experience on many other platforms. So it's very difficult for them to use that. On the other hand, when we go to the ratings and we analyze that, we see that people watch TV, especially during prime time, also the PVR recorded items. We can see here the pink line is the only live watching rating of all our series channel, and the 61 that you can see here, is there a pointer here? Over here, the upper line over here is the accumulated rating of recorded items, of live item, which is this, and this gap over here is the additional rating that we gain through the recorded items. Actually, recording item adds around 20% of the accumulated rating, so people actually want to consume recorded items. Actually, half of the consumption of our series channel, we have 5 series channels that we produce and 5 additional movie channels that we produce. We acquired most of the content for those channels from the studios, from Lionsgate, and from major content providers. On our series channel, half of the ratings is coming from time-shifted TV experience. So we can see here on the different types of content the way that it's perceived. Obviously, series are almost half of it, 46% are consumed on recorded, time-shifted recordings, which means VOD and PVR, while obviously news or sports, most of their watching is when it's live. Okay, we can see here the graph. I just brought a graph to show that we had many concerns that if VOD is going to grow as much as we expected, it's going to take ratings from the recordings or vice versa, that they compete each other. And what we can see over here is that they just add to they add one to another. So people watch more content on recorded content, and on top of that, they also watch more content on from VOD. So we are about to launch a multi-room service. Multi-room service means that you can watch all your recorded show from the PVR on all the HD set-top boxes at the house, which means that, of course, you can start watch, let's say, at the salon, stop the show, move to another room, and continue from the same spot. Although on the other room you don't have a PVR, so it's both economically advantage for our consumers because they don't need more than one PVR at the house. Obviously, it's also good for us because we find most of those second set-top boxes are more expensive for us than for the users. And of course, it's very, as you could see, that it's also very resemble to the needs of the users. So how does it work? We use the household network. We use the router. It speaks with, and the router connects between the salon, all the set-top boxes, and of course with our previous service that I mentioned, the streamer, which connects all the PCs, so you can watch all your content from your PC, from your recorded shows, and all of those in one, in any set-top box that you want. The last part that we're about of our new revolution is the experience, the next phase of the user experience. This was our old UI. I guess you could all agree that it's very basic, very something that, although that we were perceived as most advanced thanks to that, in many ways, it's not as updated as the stuff that we are all used through with apps on mobile devices, on our tablets and so on. Another screen, just an example, would be, this would be our main screen, where you have over here all the options of the main catalog, and with this very small window, you can see the live channel that it continues to grow. So, I would like to show you the first glimpse on our new UI, the new user experience. If it's possible to turn to the video. We can turn the sound off. We can see over here that the whole perception of the user experience is full screen video. The video always stays on in the full screen. We allow ourselves to interact or to interrupt the user only upon his request. So only if he wants to get into the menus, then we will cover more and more information from the screen and get the show. These are recommendations. They are being changed on a daily basis that we can manage that. We have a system that we can recommend on the VOD items on a daily basis. Later on, it's going to be combined with the recommendation system that I mentioned earlier that you saw in the first part of the presentation. You can see that the speed of the experience is very crucial. We've tested this system in many phases, and we saw that speed is one of the most important parts of the experience that people want. In addition, we can see over here, I think we will now move to the recordings. We have the full feature that were already being able to be consumed by our consumers. Over here, this is our multi-room. I picked a different set-top box, and now I can go to the recordings on the set-top box on the other room. Now, I guess you would all agree that it's very different from the previous user experience. Now, if we push this type of experience, since we wanted this to be economically efficient, we've worked on building this so that it would fit the current set-top boxes that are already being installed at the households of our users. So if we wanted to dump this huge investment and provide them with a new set-top box, it would have been much easier for us, but the economical meaning of that is impossible for our company. So we were working on implementing this experience into the current set-top boxes that people have at the house, and it's very problematic for us to push that into the market. So to push that into the market, imagine a person just doing all the stuff that he's interested in, and one day the whole user experience at his household, the TV, which takes around 4 to 5 hours of his time spent in front of the TV, the whole experience is being changed. So we cannot do that in an aggressive way and push that into the set-top boxes, and we needed to find a way that people would actually pull this experience by themselves. So we have opened the self-service channel. It's where the user will go to this channel, they will see a demo or a movie that explains the whole experience, and with an interactive application they will download the software to their set-top box, and then the whole household moves to the second phase of this experience. So hopefully it's going to be as successful as we hope. It's a huge gap from the previous experience that our users gained, and we hope that it's going to allow us to be as competitive as we can in the next 2 or 3 years thanks to that. I would be happy to answer questions.
Any questions?
Yeah.
The same service that made it possible with a network PVR.
I couldn't hear you, sorry.
Sorry, could this service of yours could have been made possible by network PVR instead of set-top box with a PVR?
Theoretically, yes. At the moment, we don't have network PVR installed in Israel for many reasons. That network PVR is not yet as expanded in the world as we would have expected as people who work in this industry. But eventually, it's going to be combined with that. Since we have VOD over the top, it's going to be very easy for us to combine that into future network PVR.
Other questions? Back of the room.
Do we have any idea how this recommendation will affect the
Choice by the customers?
Before picking, I will share a small story of that. Before picking the service by Orca, we tested two companies, Orca and another company, and we tested the efficiency of the two recommendation system, and we saw that Orca's recommendation system was much more efficient, and it could predict the usage of the users in a much more accurate way. So that's why we picked Orca's service. I cannot say how much is going to be to raise the ARPU from VOD, but our expectation is that it's going to raise more revenues. Let's say in one-digit number, but in one-digit figure, but in the higher end of that. So I guess around 7 to 9% increase in their ARPU.
But could it really so affect choice by the customers what movie to look at, to purchase?
You mean, would it expand the amount of content that people are using, or
if you could affect the choice of the customer?
If we have business rules that we can enforce into the system, yeah. Well, I'll answer that. I hope I'll try to answer that. Of course, we can enforce business rules like the new launches of ours, or to increase the amount of premium content within the recommendations for the users and stuff like that. Of course, we have also other business rules that we've implemented into the system, like not recommending on adult content, not recommending on content that we don't want to be pushed to the user, although he might be very interested in accessing this type of content, like very violent content or very adult content, or adult content that we don't want to push into the set-top boxes. So expect that to help us to increase revenues. At the same time, we believe that recommendation system would also enable each one of the users not only be exposed to the stuff that we believe that is most important for the mainstream, but also to be exposed to stuff that are connected to his own taste or to his own usage habits. I hope it does answer your question.
Yeah. We have time for one more brief question. Antonio got the mic before anybody else.
Oh, yes. I was just wondering if you are going to extend the range of the devices in your multi-screen environment, I mean tablets or smartphone. And if so, what about the UI? Are you going to try to replicate the amazing, the cutting-edge UI you shown us previously? And there are constraints in doing that, you think?
Already today we have applications on smartphones, on tablets, iOS mainly, and of course the TVs, the set-top boxes. We will probably, as the whole market is expanding to more and more screens, we will probably have more launches in this area. In terms of duplicating the user experience, I think the user experience as a concept, this user experience as a concept would probably be duplicated. However, it will not be duplicated as is. We will need to adjust that into the different requirements and the different usage habits that the user expects to have on his smartphone, on his tablet, on his PC, and so on. So obviously people want to consume VOD catalog or live TV channels on catalog on their smartphones in a different way than the way that they want to consume that on tablets or PCs, and especially on TV.
Right. Thank you, Dovev. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.